How some wild animals became tame ones. From the Brown Fairy Book. Once upon a time there lived a miller who was so rich that when he was going to be married he asked the feasts not only be for his friends, but also some wild animals who dwelt in the hills and woods around about. The chief of the bears, the wolves, the foxes, the horses, the cows, the goats, the sheep, and the reindeer all received invitations. And as they were not accustomed to weddings, they were greatly pleased and flattered, and sent back messages in their politest language that they would certainly be there. The first to start on the morning of the wedding day was the bear, who always liked to be punctual, and besides, he had a long way to go, and his hair, being so thick and rough, needed a good brushing before it would be fit to be seen at a party. However, he took care to awaken very early and set off down the road with a light heart. Before he had walked very far, he met a boy who came whistling along, hitting at the tops of flowers with a stick.
There have been instances where that has been able to be utilized.
"Where are you going?" he said, looking at the bear in surprise, for he was an old acquaintance and not generally so smart. "Oh, just to the miller's marriage," answered the bear carelessly. "Of course, I'd much rather stay at home, but the miller was so anxious I should be there that I really could not refuse." Don't go," cried the boy. "If you do, you will never come back. You have got the most beautiful skin in the world, just the kind that everyone is wanting. They will be sure to kill you and strip you of it." "I had not thought about that," said the bear, whose face turned white, only nobody could see it. "If you were certain that they would be so wicked, but perhaps you were jealous because nobody has invited you." "Oh, nonsense!" cried the boy angrily. Do as you see. It is your skin and not mine. I don't care what becomes of it." And he walked quickly on, with his head in the air. The bear waited until he was out of sight, and then followed him slowly, for he felt in his heart that the boy's advice was good, though he was too proud to say it. The boy soon grew tired of walking along the road and turned off into the woods. Where there were bushes he could jump, and streams he could wade, but he had not gone far before he met the wolf. "Where are you going?" he asked, for it was not the first time he had seen him. Just going to the miller's cottage," answered the wolf, as the bear had done before him. "It is rather tiresome, of course. Weddings are always so stupid. But still, one must be good-natured." "Don't go," said the boy again. "Your skin is so thick and warm, and winter's not far off. They will kill you and strip it off of you."
Design philosophy.
The wolf's jaw dropped in astonishment and terror. "Do you really think that would happen?" he gasped. "Yes, to be sure I do," answered the boy. "But it is your affair, not mine, so good morning." And on he went. The wolf stood still for a few minutes, for he was trembling all over. And then he crept quietly back to his cave. Next the boy met a fox, whose lovely coat of silver gray was shining in the sun. You look very fine, said the boy, stopping to admire him. Are you going to the miller's wedding too? Yes, said the fox. It is a long journey to take for such a thing as that, but you know that the miller's friends are so dull and heavy. It is only kind to go and amuse them a little. You poor fellow, said the boy pitifully. Take my advice and stay at home. If once you enter the miller's gate, his dogs will tear you to pieces. Well, such things have occurred, I know, replied the fox gravely, and without saying any more, he trotted off the way he had come. His tail had scarcely disappeared when a great noise of crashing in branches was heard, and up bounded the horse, his black skin glistening like satin. Good morning, he called to the boy as he... Good morning, he galloped to the boy as he galloped past. I can't wait to talk to you now. I'm prepared to promise the miller to be present at his wedding feast, and they won't sit down till I come. Stop, stop, cried the boy after him, and there was something in his voice that made the horse pull up. What's the matter? He asked. You don't know what you are doing, said the boy. If you go there once, you will never gallop through these woods any more. You are stronger than many men, but they will catch you and put ropes around you, and you will have to work and to serve them all days of your life. The horse threw back his head at these words and laughed scornfully. Yes, I am stronger than many men, he answered him, and all the ropes in the world cannot hold me. Let them bind me as fast as they will. I can always break loose and return to the forest with my freedom. And with his proud speech he gave a whisk of his long tail and galloped away faster than ever. But when he reached the miller's house, everything happened as the boy had said. While he was looking at the guests and thinking how much handsomer and stronger he was than any of them, a rope was suddenly flung over his head, and he was thrown down, and a bit thrust between his teeth. Then, in spite of his struggles, he was dragged to a stable and shut up for several days without food. Though his spirit was broken and his coat had lost its gloss. After that he was harnessed to a plough, and had plenty of time to remember all that he had lost, though not listening to the counsel of the boy.
This is going to be much as the Xbox One wanted to be, but the market was not ready for it.
When the horse had turned a deaf ear to his words, the boy wandered idly along, sometimes gathering wild strawberries from a bank, and sometimes plucking wild cherries from a tree, till he reached a clearing in the middle of the forest. Crossing this open space was a beautiful milk-white cow with a wreath of flowers round her neck. Good morning, she said pleasantly, as she came up to the place where the boy was standing. Good morning, he returned. Where are you going in such a hurry? To the miller's wedding. I'm rather late already, for this wreath took such a long time to make, so I can't stop.
With server stuff, Destin, I gotta go back to one of your favorites.
Go, said the boy earnestly. And once you have tasted your milk, they will never let you leave, and you will have to serve them all the days of your life. What nonsense. What do you know about it? Answered the cow, who was always thought she was wiser than other people. Why, I can run twice as fast as any of them. I should like to see anybody try to keep me against my will. And without even a polite bow, she went on her way, feeling very much offended. But everything turned out just as the boy had said. The company had all heard of the fame of the cow's milk, and persuaded her to give them some. And then her doom was sealed. A crowd gathered around her and held her horns so that she could not use them. And like the horse, she was shut in the stable, only let out in the mornings, when a long rope was tied around her head, and she fastened to a stake in the grassy meadow. And so it happened to the goat and to the sheep. Last of all came the reindeer, looking as he always did, as if some serious business was on hand. "Where are you going?" asked the boy, who by this time was tired of wild cherries and was thinking of dinner. "I was invited to the wedding," answered the deer, "and the miller has begged me on no accounts to fail him."
They're going to implement some of them in a modernized way.
"Oh, fool!" cried the boy. "Have you no sense at all? Do you know that when they get there they will hold you fast, for neither beast nor bird is it as strong and swift as you?"
With this skew, this is what ends up coming to fruit.
"That is exactly why I'm quite safe," replied the reindeer. "I am so strong that no one can bind me, and so swift that not even an arrow can catch me. So goodbye for the present. You will soon see me back." But none of the animals that went to the miller's wedding ever came back. And because they were self-willed and conceited, and would not listen to good advice, they and their children have been servants of men to this very day.